We're going to paint our thankful turkey today. This one is a lot smaller than the one that you're painting. This is the size of the one you're painting, but I just cut mine out mini for this tutorial. So the first thing we're going to do is lay out your box or ask your mom for, excuse me, a newspaper or old magazines to lay out on your table so you don't get paint everywhere. Then I'm going to lay out all of my supplies here on the side, and I have my paint right here. Okay, so I'm going to put my 3D pieces onto the side, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use the black color to paint this background piece, because we want that to dry completely before we glue anything on. So you have two sizes of wedges. You're going to get your big wedge and you're going to dip it inside the black paint, and you'll have probably a glop, a pretty big glop, and you don't want too much paint. So you're going to dab it off onto the side just like that, and then dab up and down. And then repeat. Dip into the black paint, dab up and down on your wood. You don't want too much paint coming off onto the wood, or so it's going to take a really long time to dry. Now these big wedges are a little bit difficult to get into these little canisters, especially once you start to get to the bottom of your paint. So you can just do your very best, or another option is to ask your mom for help, and you can pour the paint onto your box, and that will make it a little bit easier with these big wedges. The other colors, you just have the small wedges, and they are much easier to dip in. Now you don't have to cover the middle too well, because that's actually going to be covered by the turkey anyways. But you do see a few pieces through the feathers, so I just want to make sure that I get everything nice and covered. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going over, I could see the wood through some of the paint, so I'm just going over it and making sure that I don't have any pieces showing through. And then when you're all done, take this wedge and put it up in the corner. I'm going to close my black paint so I don't accidentally spill it, and I'm going to move this to the side. So I'm not completely done with the black paint, because once I paint the eyes, then I'm going to take my green applicator and I'm going to paint pupils, but that's not right now. Actually, let's paint these so that they have plenty of time to dry. So let's get our white paint out. Can open mine, and a small wedge, and then same technique, dip all the excess off onto your box, and then just lightly tap up and down, up and down. If your mom has blue tweezers, or if you ordered the Halloween set, it came with tweezers, you can use those to hold the eyeballs down, but your eyeballs are actually bigger than this, so it will be easier to paint than these little pieces. Okay, and that's the only white color that we need on this one. So I'm going to move him to the side. Okay, let's do brown next. There's a weird pause in this video because my phone rang and it kicked me off of the video, so I had to stop it. Okay, so get a clean wedge and let's do the brown. So we're gonna paint the turkey's body. So dip into the brown, dab up and down, and then dab up and down onto the turkey's body. So you'll see the eye, nose, and wattle cut out, You don't have to worry about skipping over that because these pieces we're gonna glue right on top of that. That's just a guideline. So don't worry about painting over that. That doesn't matter at all. It's just gonna help your mom see where to glue down those pieces. And it just makes it a lot easier, kind of like when you color and there's lines to show you where to color. Okay, mine is still wet, so I'm gonna take my wedge and my turkey and I'm gonna put it on the side because I wanna paint it one more time, but it's wet and so it doesn't make sense to paint right now. Okay, the next step that we're gonna do is you're probably going to need to push pause on this video and ask your mom for help. So use the picture that I sent as a guideline, and you can also get the background turkey. You need to get your feathers and you need to lay them exactly where they're supposed to go. So I'm guessing that your feathers are not in order right now. So press pause as you put them in the order that you want them to be, or that they belong actually. So mine, this is showing the correct order. So I am doing my feathers yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow. You can do whatever colors you want. So now that mine are in order, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take every other feather and I'm going to paint it yellow. Oh, that had white on it. Excuse me. I'm getting a little cold. Okay, so dip into the yellow, bounce up and down. If I'm going too fast, make sure you pause the video and then just come back and push play when you're ready, when your feathers are ready. And then I'm gonna just go up and down on these feathers. Now, I'm going to put this back where it belongs just to keep it in order so I don't have to figure out where that goes again, because I am going to paint these twice. You can just do one time if you want, but doing 2 coats will make it brighter. And if you just do little tiny dabs up and down, by the time I'm done with this last feather, all of them will be dry and they'll be ready for the second coat, so I don't have to wait. But if you put a lot of paint on, then it takes a little bit longer. So if yours is taking a little bit longer to dry, that's okay. Just push pause on the video, and then when you're ready to do the second coat, you can come back. So mine is still tiny bit wet. I don't know if you can tell, but it's not too wet, so I can do my second coat because it only had a little tiny dot that wasn't completely dry yet. Okay, my second one. I am so excited to see these turkeys when they're done. I hope that you ask your mom if you're allowed to post pictures of them, because I can't wait to see what everyone writes that they're thankful for. It's a nice activity to think about everything that we have. Okay. Now I'm going to set my yellow wedge at the top since it's still wet, and I'm going to get my other small wedge that's clean, close my yellow, and I'm going to do the other feathers red. So we'll start with this one. Be really careful if your feathers still aren't dry so that you're not getting wet paint all over you. And then I think I'll probably want 2 coats of red as well, because you can still kind of see the wood through it, and I want it to be really vibrant and red. If you get your hands if you get paint on your hands while you're doing this, you can use, if you keep a wet paper towel or a baby wipe, if your mom has those, you can keep that on the side and then you can wipe your hands on it while you paint so that you're not getting paint all over your pieces. Okay. When your red feathers are dry, so this is already dry for me. If yours aren't, go ahead and push pause. But if they are, then let's do one more coat. And just dab up and down, up and down. If I'm going too fast, just press pause. Normally when I paint, I don't go this fast, but I don't want my videos to last a super long time. So I try to go pretty fast when I make these videos, just because I expect people to press pause. But if you don't like that, if you want me to go slower, then you can leave me a comment so that I know if this is working or not. Okay, I'm gonna put that wedge away, close this, and let's go back to our turkey. Make sure that you don't set him in any of the paint that you've been working on. And I'm gonna get my brown wedge that I already used, dip, and then this was my brown right here, up and down, and then just go up and down to cover him completely. Okay, so I misplaced my nose cutout and my wattle cutout. So you're going to do the same technique. Get a wedge, dip it in the orange, bounce it off, and just like you did with the eyeball, paint the beak. And then the wattle, which is this little thing right next to his nose, I painted mine red. So do that with yours. I actually oops, I kicked my camera. I forgot to show you this applicator. So we're going to use that to make the pupils on his eyes, which this was my finished one. This one right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these eye cutouts and we're gonna get our applicator and the black paint, or if you want him to have other color paint, that's okay too, or other color eyes. I'm gonna do black, and then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip it into the black, and then I'm just going to paint a circle just like this. Okay, and then on the second eye, the thing that you want to try to do is match the first one as close as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect though. There we go. So then I can see that that one is bigger. There we go, that's pretty close. Now, let's see. My pieces are dry, so let's get ready to glue this all together. I'm gonna try to do it upside down so that it looks right side up to you. So the most important thing is make sure that we are away from any of the wet paint, so we're not getting any of our stuff into our wet paint and then ruining it. So go get your mom or your dad to help you with this step. You want to put everything together before you glue it down. So I'm gonna lay out my turkey right here and make sure that this is where it all fits together and that this is where it belongs. This feather is the easiest because it goes right in with his hair. Okay, and his eyes. So then you're gonna get your glue or your super glue. Oops, I need to open up. You have your mom open it away from your project so you don't get super glue all over because it comes out pretty quickly. Okay, I am going to paint or glue down my feathers before my body. So I'm just gonna grab one. A little super glue goes a long ways. So I'm just gonna put like one line there, and then I'm gonna hold the body down. Sorry, I'm doing this upside down, so I'm trying to make sure that it's even. Hold the body down so that it doesn't shift, and then set the feather down, and then go to the next one. I'm just gonna do one line there. Hold the body, press the feather down. Make sure the outlines all match up. So I like to do the feathers first. You can do the body first if you like. I just like to make sure that the feathers are following the outline like they're supposed to. And then when I lift the body up, it has an automatic place for it. Whereas if I accidentally glue the body wrong, then all of the feathers are wrong, if that makes sense, because they're gonna follow that. So I'm just gonna do a rough outline with the glue and fit it back in like a puzzle and hold it down. Now, because I misplaced the nose and the wattle, you'll have to just use your imagination and pretend that I glued mine down, but I'm not sure. It might have fallen on the floor and then I vacuumed it up. So just use the etches as a guide. And then you do the nose and the wattle, just like this one. And then when it's all completely dry, I had my son use a Sharpie, and I just told him to write one word, or like this in my own room, that's a phrase of something that he's thankful for. So if you can write on your own, then I would love to see the things that you're thankful for, or if you need your mom's help, then you can just ask her. And then I sent a little stand so that you can display your turkey all November. I can't wait to see pictures.